The Little Footprints. Near Dalby, in the west of the Isle of Man, there is a place called Niarbil, a great tail of rock that reaches out into the sea. A small thatched cottage lies beside the shore nearby. The cottage faces out across Bay Vuor, the great bay cradled by a range of purple mountains that lead south to Port Erin. At dawn, the sun rises from the east over Crunk Nirila, the hill that stretches high above the sea cliffs. The Mourne Mountains may be seen on the horizon to the west, where the sun sets at the end of the day. This cottage is where Juan, the fisherman, lived. As a boy, Juan would gaze out of the cottage door on moonlit nights, hoping to see the Moonjavega, or little people, dancing on the shore. Everyone on the Isle of Man knew about the little people, but they were invisible to humans, unless they chose to be seen. Juan never saw them dance, but he sometimes spotted tiny lights out in the bay and wondered if it was their fishing boats. He was sure they were, because on the following day his father would have a good catch of herring. There were also nights when he was woken from his sleep by the sound of distant hammering. As he listened between the howls of the wind and the drag of shingle on the shore, he knew it must be themselves making their herring barrels in Uch na Sair, the cooper's cave below the hills. However, sometimes people did see the Moonjavega. Juan had heard about the fisherman who had seen their herring fleet. The man had been fishing at Lag na Cília one night when a thick grey mist rolled in from the sea. He decided to make his way home while he could still see the path beside the cliffs. While he was packing his things, he heard a noise like rowdy children. It was a strange sound to hear at night. He peered down over the rocks and saw a fleet of ferry boats preparing to come ashore, their riding lights shining like little yellow stars. Even the little people wanted to escape the fog that night. One night, when Juan was older, he rowed to the far side of Bay Vuor to collect a boat he had left there earlier that day. It was a calm, moonlit night and the water was as smooth as glass. The only sounds were the lapping of waves, the clunk of his oars, and the occasional cry of a gannet. Juan found the boat where he had left it. As he was getting it ready for launch, a twinkling light caught his eye. It was coming from one of the caves. He stood stock still. As he strained to listen, he could hear the faint sound of music. He crept as quietly as he could towards the cave entrance and looked inside. The light was gone and the corners of the cave were pitch black. Only the soft glow of the moonlight sent shadows through the entrance. As Juan's eyes adjusted to the dim light, he saw a great stone lying in the middle of the cave on a blanket of white sand. He looked closely. He could see little footprints around the stone. They were marks of tiny clogs, smaller than his thumb.